up right here with lefts and rights. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as cranking one and cranking the other.
Exactly.
I can crank in as much caster as I need, but
Exactly.
I don't know. I've got about 6 degrees I set it with to start with, and I don't know. See how it is.
Yeah.
I would think that if you take away caster, it's going to make it real grabby when you drive it. Like with a race car, you know, it'd be the same situation.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of caster in is going to kind of take away some feel out of the wheel, which is probably what you're going to want with a setup like this. I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I've built a ton of race cars, oval track cars, but I've never built a setup like this to drive for myself.
Is that the original steering box?
No, that's a 44 box. And I couldn't believe it, but the pitman arm, the spline part of the pitman arm, I had a power steering box for my Chevelle.
Yeah.
And the pitman arm was the same. So I actually took the pitman arm off the Chevelle, cut the circle out of it, and then I made that pitman arm right there. I welded the circle into that piece of bar stock and then threaded it. I think I may thread a couple of more holes up in here just so I can change the ratio if I need to.
Right.
I mean, it steers easy enough sitting here on the garage floor, but I don't know, when you're driving down the road it may be too easy and you might want to put a little bit more feel back in it, you know.
You got room for a big steering wheel?
Yeah, I got the original wheel that's what I want to use.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That big wheel.
Yeah.
And plus you got a pretty lightweight car and a pretty lightweight front end. You don't have a big V8 sitting out in front of here.
Yeah, this thing should be pretty light-footed to drive, I would think. I can't imagine this thing's going to weigh much more than 2,200 pounds or so, 2,300 pounds.
All right.
You know, completely ready to go.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah. Tell me about the rear end.
The rear end is actually just a 9-inch Ford out of a 79 Ford pickup.
Yeah.
And funny because I used to have a junkyard right down the road here.
Yeah.
Had 600-700 cars. You know, used to sell parts back in the 80s. And when I got out of it, we crushed everything out. And that pickup truck right there was getting ready to be put in the press. And I just took a torch and cut the frame off right ahead of the spring hanging. And I said, someday I may want a rear end. We're talking back in the 80s.
Right.
And when I got ready to do this project, I said, you know what? I wonder if that rear end's still down there. So I went down in the woods and I had to cut some trees to get it out. But it was still there, and there it is.
Tell me about how you mounted it. I'm doing this for the sake of YouTube so that people can hear how you've done it.
Well, these springs are actually F100 Ford pickup springs, and I took the stack apart and put a center bolt in and just kept, basically by feel, you know, kept pushing down the springs till it felt like, you know, it was going to have strength enough to hold the back of the vehicle up. I actually took the springs and put them in a press and bent the tails down and hooked the ends like a slipper spring like you'd see on a big...
Right.
Some trailers use that style, and that's where I'm going to go with as far as a rear mount. And I've got different... This is a standard spring eye bushing right here, and I actually put a couple extra sets of holes in there in case I need to raise or lower the truck as far as the ride height goes, because I didn't know how this thing was going to sit when it's fully loaded with a fuel tank and, you know, everything, people sitting in it and everything, so I wanted to be able to lower and raise the suspension a little bit. I'm still kind of up in the air with this. When this thing is all done and I take it for a ride, it's gonna, you know, I may end up changing a few things over. If I have to, I'll put coilovers in the back and use these leaf springs right here just as a locating rods, you know what I mean? But I still got to put a rear cross member in. I didn't want to put it in until I got my fuel tank, which I got from your buddy down there, the Volkswagen fuel tank. So now I can put my rear cross member in since I know where my tank's going to sit.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much going to mount back here. Battery, the solenoid, fuse panel, all that stuff. I'm going to put it all back here because this is just going to be a big opening piece of plywood that you'll be able to reach right down in here and be able to get at everything, just service everything. It'll be a lot easier to work on it under here than it would be anywhere else. I'm actually going to run anything that would have been in the dash as far as wiring.
Yeah.
Be right behind the cab right here.
That's good. It's always good to have your wiring where it's really easy to get to.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a lot. I think I may just buy one of those wiring harnesses, like a 12-circuit harness. I think that'll be plenty.
Well, no more than what you've got. What I did was just got a fuse block with a dozen fuses or so in it, and just straight wire. Because all I've got is lights. Well, let's see, what else I have? Lights, turn signals.
Yeah.
In mine, I don't even have a radio or.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even, I may put a radio in here, but there won't be anything else besides that, you know.
I wouldn't be able to hear it if I had one.
Yeah.